Good morning, everybody. It's Chad from Six Blog. Today I want to do part 3 of my Great Smoky Mountain National Park post-hike gear talk post. Like I said, I normally do my post-hike gear talks in one post, one video, one write-up. I'll just load everything up in my backpack, pull everything out, and talk about it. For the most part, a lot of the stuff that I talk about is stuff that I use pretty often on my backpacking trips. That's one good thing about over the years. I've kind of nailed a lot of my kit down, so a lot of items that I'm carrying now is stuff that I've been using for a while, and I just find that it works for me. And I think that's the best thing that any of us can do whenever we're trying to figure out what works for us. Just take something and use it. So like I said, I generally try to do post-hike gear talk videos. This time though, the Great Smoky Mountain National Park hike I did about a week and a half or so ago now, it was a little bit cooler on that trip. Temperatures got as low as 23 degrees Fahrenheit. So because of that, there was a couple of items that I brought with me that I don't generally get to talk about a lot, just because I don't do as many cold weather hikes as I'd like to. So I decided to split my my gear talk videos up into 3 separate parts, just to kind of focus on each one just a little more, rather than them getting lost in a sea of just gear talk. So like I said, the first part I did my post-hike gear talk was on my Z-Packs 20 degree sleeping bag. The second one was on my Enlightened Equipment Stronghold mittens, and then the third one is going to be on my jacket. I actually did post an initial view of this before I went on the hike, and I love this thing. I'm going to try to use it a couple more times before it gets warm, but this is kind of getting to a busy time of the year for me again, to where it's hard for me to get out. So I wanted to feature this as the third and final part of my post-hike gear talk series. So as you may know, this is the GooseFeet Gear down Anorak. This was custom made from Ben at GooseFeet Gear. GooseFeet Gear is he lives in Georgia. He's a small cottage business. He makes down socks, he makes down pillows, and then of course he does custom clothing such as pants and jackets. I actually have his down socks, which is probably one of my most cherished items when I go and it's cold. I also have his down pillowcase I use for with my Exped ultralight pillow. It's been my favorite pillow setup by far. I've been using it for the last couple of years. And then I also have a pair of down pants that I'm really excited about. Love those. And then of course I have his jacket. Now, like I said in the previous, the first look video, Ben did make this for me free of charge, just kind of in exchange for some feedback, as well as just kind of doing a review on it. So I do want to highlight this again. First off, this is custom made. It's 100% custom made. When I got this, it's not like saying I want a size small or I want a size medium. When I got this, the first thing that Ben asks you for is measurements. He wants measurements, particular areas on your body, such as your sleeve length, around your neck, around your waist, around your torso. He wants specific measurements. That way he can actually tailor make that jacket to fit you. Now what I did with some of the measurements, I actually kind of extended, such as my sleeves. I wanted those just a little bit longer, so I kind of added about 1 inch or so to those measurements just to make sure my sleeves was long. And even the length of my jacket, he asked me how far I wanted that to go, and I told him. So what he made for me is my custom down Anorak jacket. And also, like I mentioned in the other video, the reason I decided to go with this is because my Montbell X-Lite parka, Anorak parka, well, it's an Anorak, it's a hooded Anorak. I had that. I've been using it for a couple of years. I was really excited about it. There's a couple of features that I wasn't. I was kind of wishing that there was a couple of extra features. Now, I'm not knocking that jacket. The whole point of the X-Lite series from Montbell is it's basic. It's pretty much a featureless jacket. It's nothing extra, only the things you absolutely need. But there was 2 things that I kind of missed out on that, and Ben said he could make this for me. He could make those adjustments that I kind of wish would have been on the Montbell piece, so this is what I went with. Now I want to say the 2 adjustments that I made was on my Montbell piece, I couldn't cinch my hood down. So what I've done is asked him to basically make the hood to where I can cinch it. And now it's got a string in here and I can cinch it down. Now I will say that's one thing. What I do wish that he would have done is I wish that first off maybe had some grommets, because the way the channels are sewn, the cord just kind of falls out of the channels. I think that with a grommet it would have worked a little bit better. just simply because these cord locks are so small that they can actually get pulled into the channel at just the right angle. So what I'm going to do to fix that is I'm just going to grab some different cord locks and I'm going to put them on a little bit bigger so they won't get fed up into the channel. The other thing about the hood is he used just some little 1.1 polyester cord. Anybody that's familiar with Z-Packs probably knows what I'm talking about. He used that. I kind of wish he would have used some tiny shock cord just to kind of give it a little bit of movement, a little freedom, so it wasn't so static when I was moving around. I think that too would help keep the cord locks from being pulled up into the channels, because that would kind of give rather than just completely pull. But those are things that I can do on my own. As far as changing that cord out and putting different cord locks, I can do that on my own. So it's not really a big bother for me, but it is just one thing I made a note of. And then the other thing was I was a big fan of the Kangaroo Pocket, the tunnel version Kangaroo Pocket. But my Montbell piece, it was only insulated on the outside. This one's insulated on the inside as well. And I like that just because, you know, I'm out here right now. There's some wind blowing. These pockets, if they're kind of open like they are, some wind can kind of blow in, but that's just a piece of material on the back of that, so that wind can kind of, some cool air can kind of sneak in. The way that he designed this, that doesn't happen. So all in all, I'm very excited about this piece. Like I said, I used it 2 nights on the Great Smoky Mountain National Park hike. The first night temperatures got down to 31, but there was quite a bit of wind. Wind chill, I don't know what it was with the wind chill, but it was pretty cool. The second night got down to 23 degrees while we were sleeping. By the time the sun came up, the temperature was back up to about 31 degrees. So I didn't actually stand around in camp wearing this in 23-degree weather. Now, something that I want to point out, really focus on, I don't know if I came across on the first video, is my purpose for this jacket. This is not a technical piece. This, I do not intend for this to be, you know, 100% technical where I'm constantly wearing a backpack over it. I'm just constantly just making my way through briars and everything with this as my outer layer or anything. The whole reason I have this is so that it's something that's lightweight, that I can throw in my backpack, and when I get to camp I can pull it out, I can put it on. Now sure, it needs to stand up to some abuse, to you know, some wear. On occasion, if temperatures drop down into the low teens and don't really get up, I'm probably going to start looking at wearing my down to hike in. However, in those cases too, I would kind of be a little smart about it, and I would pull over a rain jacket, my rain jacket, and put over, just to kind of give this a little extra protection. So this is not a 100% technical piece. Now saying that, I have kind of walked through some briars and brush just walking out here. I'm at Big Hill Pond State Park, Tennessee. It's probably about, I don't know, close to a mile to get to the point where I'm at now. And a lot of this area is kind of grown up. I don't know if you can see some of the briars and stuff, but it's just kind of grown up. But I just kind of pushed my way. I was careful about it. You know, some stuff, if they were real big, I would kind of push them out of the way. I went through it. It worked fine. Also, when I was on top of cliff tops on Saturday night, waiting for the sun to set, which is on top of Mount LeConte, of course that's in the Smokies, making my way up to cliff tops, there's a grown-up area. It's not really grown into the trail, but it's a pretty tight little area, and there's a bunch of just bushes and stuff growing up around the edges. I just kind of pushed my way through those. This was my outer layer again. It did great. It didn't snag on anything so far. I haven't got it snagged. Even on some of these briars and stuff, it hasn't snagged. So I've been pretty happy. Now talking about that, this is his 10D material. He offers 3 different materials, I believe, on his site. There's a 10D, which this is inside and out. There's a 20D, which is basically kind of the same thing, but it's just a little bit more durable. The DWR is probably just a little more, I'd say better. But there's probably just a little more DWR applied. I don't know how that might work. But also I believe he has some limited quantities of just old Pertex Quantum GL. So he has a couple of different variations. And then of course each one he has different colors that you can pick. So you can really kind of get this thing kind of customized really, really well to your own liking. For example, like I said, I have 10D inside and out. This is his forest green. I don't know how well that's coming up in the camera. But this is the forest green color on the inside. Really like that. And then of course the black on the outside. Also, one other thing while I'm kind of talking about materials that went into making this jacket. Like I said, he did use 950 down tech, it's treated down. Some people thought that I might have been mistaken and thought I meant 850. That is incorrect. This is actually 950 down fill, and it is down tech treated down. His stock down that he uses is 850, and I do believe it's also goose down, but it's just standard 850. It's not treated down or anything like that. It's just 850, which 850 is a great feel. I'm actually really happy with, I'm good with the actually 800 or 850 feel, but this is 950 feel. Also, it is 4 ounces of 950 feel, so it's a lot more than what you typically find in some of these lighter weight pieces. Now, like I said in the video before, this total piece comes out to 7.7 ounces. That's actually 1.1 ounce heavier than my Montbell piece. However, it's got almost twice the amount of down feel inside it. And I tell you what, I can absolutely tell that. Putting this thing on, right now when I got out of my car, it was about 40 degrees, but that was up on the hill back there. And now I'm down here on the water, and there's a little bit of wind blowing, so it's probably a degree or two cooler. But right now I'm wearing just a t-shirt, and I'm wearing this down piece. Of course, I am wearing my ORPL 150 gloves also. On bottom, I'm just wearing some blue jeans. Nothing special, but I'm just standing out here, and I mean, I'm actually a little bit warm. And as you can tell, I'm not walking around. I'm not doing anything to create any extra heat. This is just standing around. For me, if I was in my Montbell piece, probably at this point, I would probably be okay, but I would probably be a little bit on the cool side, whereas right now I'm still a little on the warm side. I would say just for me, standing around in camp, I could get away with this down to freezing just with a t-shirt on. However, the way I look at things is as a layering system. I don't look at anything just on its own. Of course, I do look at it on its own because it has to hold its own weight, but it's all part of a system. So typically while I'm out backpacking, if it's going to be cold enough for me to want to bring this, it's going to be cold enough for me to want to wear my warmer underlayers also. And generally, I do wear a Capilene 2 long sleeve crew shirt as kind of a base layer, and then I wear a Capilene 4, the extreme weight hoodie. I don't know if either one of those pieces are technically the same anymore because Patagonia is good about changing their stuff up year to year, it seems. But these were bought a couple of years back. But I will be wearing both of those pieces beneath. And with this on, I feel like I could just stand around camp and not have to worry about anything, and probably into the mid-20s. Now, of course, when I go backpacking, I also have a wind jacket, and I also have a rain jacket that I can put on to help block some wind and stuff. So that would kind of give me a little extra warmth boost there if I needed it to. And of course, I always have my sleeping bag or my quilt. If I'm just that cold, I can just kind of wrap it around me. And I've never actually been in that position. The coldest I've been out hiking, at nighttime it got down to 6 degrees and the wind was just kicking it. So I'm going to say it was well under 0 degree with a wind chill factor. Now that was at night. During the early morning and the late evenings, temperatures was kind of low to mid-teens with still some wind. So I did wear my Montbell down piece hiking that time. That's the only time I've ever wore my down jacket hiking. I just don't ever need it. But with this piece, I think it's easily twice of what that Montbell piece was. And like I said, it's only 7.7 ounces. It comes in 1.1 ounce heavier than the Montbell piece. So I mean, I'm ecstatic about that. Considering all the features, it's got a hood on it. I have a insulated on front and or top and bottom Kangaroo Pocket. It's half zip. To me, a half zip. I like this for this piece. I like a half zip better than I do a full zip, just because I think the full zip kind of gives you a zipper, a little extra heat might be able to come in, or escape, a little cool air might be able to come in. With this, that doesn't happen. It's only right here. I can adjust my hood. I can adjust my waist cinch, although since it's custom made, it fits around my waist rather well. I don't even cinch the waist. I could probably just pull that cord out, and I was kind of thinking about pulling that cord out and using that shock cord up here in my hood. So I may end up doing that. Anyway, other than that, I do want to mention one other thing. One thing that's very important to me with these down pieces is the material being down proof. Now, this is listed as down proof. What I found is that it's pretty close to down proof. I wouldn't say it's 100% down proof. My Montbell, both my X-Lite and my X-Lite Anorak, those have probably, the material on that's probably been my most favorable when it comes to actually being downproof. I mean, I don't think I hardly saw any down coming out of those. Maybe occasionally I would see some coming out of the seams. However, for the most part, I mean, that thing was the bomb as far as the material was concerned. I have some old pants from him. It used Noble 1 on the inside, and that stuff did leak down pretty well. He doesn't use that anymore. I'm talking about Ben from GooseFeet Gear. This is the material he's using now. And I will say that this material is a lot more downproof than that Noble 1. That stuff, it leaks pretty good. But I have found, I don't know how well you can see, if that's focusing or not. I'll give it just a second. Maybe you can see it now. But there's little pieces of down here and there. There's 3 right there. There's 1 here. Just little bitty pieces down trying to make their way out. And so I'm going to say it's not as downproof as I would like it to be. However, I got to say it's not near as bad as some of the other materials that I've used. Like I said, that Noble 1 has probably been the worst. Next to that was the material that my Montbell ultralight down inner parka and jacket was made of. Those things leaked down pretty bad. And then I'm going to say this is probably a little better than that, but it's not as good as the Montbell material. So I think that if I would have went with the 20D, I bet it probably would have been a little more downproof. But I tell you what, this material is just so comfortable. It just feels so good. I put this thing on and man, it feels good. I can't explain to you how good it feels. It's probably some of the best feeling material that I've used as far as down jackets, sleeping bags, anything like that's concerned. It's a very comfortable material. And I think even at this point, even though it does leak just a little bit, if I were to do it again, I would probably still go with 10D on the inside and outside. I might give it a little more thought going with 20D on the outside, just to kind of give it a little bit more durability on the outside and maybe keeping a little extra down in. Saying all that, don't get me wrong, I don't think this thing is ever going to leak enough down for it to really make that much of a difference. Now, if I was using it every day for years and years on end, I feel like the material would probably fail before there was enough down that escaped it that would actually make a difference. That's my opinion. But for me, unfortunately, I only get out, weekends when I can, sometimes here and there, and then with family life, work life, it gets tough to get out a lot of times. So I don't get out near as much as I like. Hopefully in the next couple of years, about 6 or 7 years down the road, some of that will change. And honestly, I feel like I'm still going to have this jacket at that point in time. So anyway, I hope that kind of answers some questions anybody may have about this particular jacket. I know a lot of people's kind of asked me about it. I'm very excited about it. I wholeheartedly, 100% say if you're considering a new down jacket and you want down, I would definitely say go check out Ben at GooseFeet Gear, because he can make this for you to fit you. You can use the materials that you want to use. You can ask him to use this material, that material. You can tell him this much down. I mean, it's a no-brainer in my opinion. It's great to be able to get something so custom made. So I think that's really awesome. So anyway, the GooseFeet Gear down Anorak. I'm gonna give it about 1.9 thumbs up. Just simply, like I said, because the material, it does leak a little bit of down, but I'm gonna be able to live with that, I think. So anyway, guys, I appreciate you watching. Ben, I appreciate you making this jacket for me. I think it's great. I'm really looking forward to using it more. And everybody, like I said, thanks for watching. If you have any comments or questions, just post them below. I'll do my best to get back to you, reply to them, answer any questions, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.